He's so right. I mean, the administration is not talking about a coronavirus relief package at all. There needs to be money to distribute this vaccine, legislation, laws in place, a mechanism to inoculate our country from this horrible virus. And the administration, I mean, we wrote this in Playbook this morning. I mean, is he even president anymore? He's not been in public. He's not talking to Capitol Hill. He's not doing any of the things that he needs to do, even from a bare bones level. I mean, I'm in the Capitol every day. I haven't seen a member of the administration in talks with Congress, with the leadership for days, weeks, since before the election. So it's just a stunning level of kind of just silence. It's like when bars go up on the TV. It's stunning, and I don't know if it's ever going to end. And frankly, the president is pushed along by people like Lindsey Graham, who, offered 15 different excuses for why Donald Trump might be president. Kevin McCarthy said yesterday, we don't know the results of the election, but he did allow it's driving toward a Joe Biden victory. So he's in this bubble, this alternate reality that is so far removed from.
But Jake, let me ask you a question that seems a little too obvious. Is Kevin McCarthy says he doesn't know who won the presidential election. Has he put out any press releases or made any comments about the congressional races being over, that Republicans have fared better than expected in congressional races? Is he saying that races that he actually likes the outcomes of are completed, but the ones that he doesn't are not completed yet, that he doesn't know the outcomes?
Garrett Hake asked him this question yesterday at his press conference that Garrett and I were both at, and he said he kind of stumbled around. I mean, this is the obvious question, right? He had a better than expected result. He's willing to accept that, but he's not willing to accept the presidential race, which did not turn in his favor. I mean, these people, meaning politicians, are not honest. I mean, the Republican Party thinks its only way out of this, its only way to maintain relevancy is to kiss up to Donald Trump. And that's just where they are. And they won't answer these questions honestly. They say it with a straight face because they know, and Kevin McCarthy said this yesterday, Joe, Donald Trump will be very active in our party and in the national discourse for years to come, whether he's in the White House or not.
So they don't want to make his voters mad by stating the obvious and the true, which is that Joe Biden is the president-elect. So, Jake, you guys have some new polling out just this morning, which is really interesting because it shows the country now is coming to grips with what's in front of us in terms of coronavirus. There was a lot of the country that didn't believe it for a long time, that listened to Donald Trump and others who said it was a hoax or that it was going to magically disappear, that you didn't have to social distance, that you didn't have to wear a mask, that all businesses should be open all the time. But as this now spreads, especially to the heartland of this country, your new polling shows people are taking it more seriously.
In almost every respect, Willie, I think the biggest disconnect, we have a lot of polling on this, but the biggest disconnect seems to be between what Republicans on Capitol Hill are saying and what the country wants on a massive relief package. 66%, that's about as high as it gets in a poll with so many options, say that coronavirus relief should be at the top of Joe Biden's agenda if when he takes office. I mean, if you look at what Mitch McConnell says, what Kevin McCarthy says, they're nowhere near this. I mean, 67%, these numbers are not, we don't see these in polls too often, and it shows that the country is ready for a new way, according to this polling, and it's not the way that Republicans on Capitol Hill have been leading so far.
Peter Baker, Mike Barnicle has a question for you. Mike.
Peter Baker, what do you figure or what do you hear from your sources about the Biden transition team and the level of expertise that they have in trying to deal with this issue about the virus and where it's going, how they're going to get it to different places in the country? What are you hearing from people within the Biden campaign about what the lack of access is doing to the progress that they hope to make?
Yeah, I think they're very concerned about that. This is not an easy operation. This is a literally a military-style operation that requires coordination, requires a lot of thinking and a lot of planning ahead. And to come in on January 20th at noon and suddenly take this over without any preparation leaves them, with one hand tied behind their back, to say the least. Now, you have a lot of expertise that is rushing to join the Biden team, that is eager to help the Biden team, especially people who've been frustrated by the Trump administration over these last few months, public health experts who've kind of almost given up or wash their hands of an administration that doesn't seem to be taking it as seriously as the health experts want them to, are excited about an administration that has made this a top priority and that makes it clear that they do trust and do plan to follow the lead advice of the people who understand the field. But you're right, to wait 60 more days before they even begin to have access to what's going on inside the government and the planning that's been done is certainly a big concern, I think, to the Biden team. No question about it.
And Kasie Hunt, jump on. I would think this would be a legitimate question for Republicans in the Senate.
It always is, and they don't seem to ever necessarily want to answer our questions about it. And I think, John Lemire, my question for you, I know you're behind the scenes covering the White House, talking to these officials all the time. And as I'm up on the Hill, it's clear they're most worried and focused on winning these runoff elections in Georgia. That is the reason why we are seeing, we knew they were going to do this for a certain amount of time, but trying to make sure they hang on to power in the Senate is really driving the reluctance between now and January 5th when those runoffs happen. They know that they don't want to anger Republican base voters, and they're worried about poking the bear that is Donald Trump in that regard. What do we know about where the president is on all of that? We know he canceled his Thanksgiving trip to Mar-a-Lago. He seems to be bunkering down. You had said earlier on the show that we should anticipate more firings, more potential problems. Are Republicans going to get what they want from the president in terms of him staying out, not hurting their chances in Georgia? Or does the president care at all about that goal?
President Trump has rarely prioritized the well-being of the Republican Party. It's all about his own personal political capital and his own ability to hang on to power. And when he would help Republicans in his administration, it was for those Republicans to then help him in return. And we certainly know that he has not been shy about criticizing them as well. In terms of Georgia, it is unclear. I've been talking to his advisors, both in the White House and still at the campaign, who say no decision has been made yet as to whether the president will be involved in these Georgia runoffs. To this point, he has not shown any interest outside of an occasional tweet. There's, at the moment, no plans to campaign there, though the vice president, Mike Pence, is heading to Georgia. The campaigns are certainly eager for him to do so, believing that if the president were to show up, that could indeed fire up the base. But there is a concern that this utter inaction, this now 2 weeks of the president more or less abandoning his job to sulk in the White House, is maybe hurting them. Is going to hurt their voters, that will depress excitement there, that they're not sure this is going to animate them like so many Republicans on Capitol Hill believe. And Peter Baker, I wanted to go to you to pick up a thread that Kasie mentioned. We were talking earlier today about the firing of Christopher Krebs, which was widely expected, the Homeland Security official who vouched repeatedly that this election was secure and safe and knocked down a lot of the frankly baseless allegations the president and his allies were making, saying that this election was illegitimate and there was rampant voter fraud, when of course there isn't any evidence of that. What are you hearing in terms of what could be the next shoe to fall? As we were discussing, there has been belief that the president will be dismissing others. We saw the change in the Pentagon. We now see this. Who else should be nervous about their job security? What else do you anticipate coming from this president as he remains just holed up in the White House? No public events on his schedule.